Back to Chuck's captivating chat. And let me see, we are about 20 minutes late. One day, folks, we're going to figure out all the technical bugs here and actually get on time. You wouldn't believe the stuff we go through before we go on. My stage manager, Debbie, said, "Now, Chuck, just take a deep breath and close your mouth, and everything's going to be fine." So that's what I'm doing. I'm just in my happy place because actually, this is what I love. Once I get past all the technical stuff and I'm just here talking with you guys, I love it and I have a lot of fun. And it's quite a day here in Los Angeles. You may have heard on the news that the 10 freeway in downtown, a 2 mile stretch going in both directions, is closed right now, sadly, because of an arsonist. And hey, Joyce, good to see you too. Just had a viewer come in. But anyway, a 2 mile stretch of the freeway is closed, and it's going to be closed for quite a few weeks while emergency repairs are being made. Our wonderful mayor, Karen Bass, Governor Gavin Newsom, they're on top of this. But I find it a little amusing because we're also having our first big rainstorm of the season. And anybody who's familiar with Los Angeles knows that when it rains here, because we go like 9, 10 months of the year with no rain, and then it just suddenly comes down. We have a bunch of drivers who don't know what the hell they're doing and they don't know how to drive in rain anymore. And, I'm a native to the East Coast. I used to know how to drive in rain too, but even I have forgotten about it. And then we have the problem because the roads are, of course, covered with oil, having not been washed away for quite a few months. So they're super slick. So it's just it's chaos and cacophony in Los Angeles right now, and probably more so than usual. But that's the big thing going on. Of course, I always promise that I'm going to talk about show business in the industry. There hasn't been a whole lot of news. Probably the big thing is, of course, the end of the SAG after strike. All it depends on now is just sending out ballots to voters and getting this approved. And that's likely going to happen. I happen to be a member and I can't wait to vote on that. There was a little bit of a tawdry news story yesterday involving Will Smith. He and Jada Pinkett just don't go away. And I certainly am not implying this is any big deal, but an assistant of his claims that he walked in on Will Smith having sex with actor Dwayne Martin. Now, you can take that for whatever it's worth, but it was all over the news yesterday. It's just one more thing on top of the other stuff that Will is dealing with, along with Jada, and we will just see how this story just keeps unfolding. Um, Thank you yesterday for coming in, watching me with Dr. Whimsy yesterday. I was telling some stuff about the movie Some Like It Hot. I thought I would talk about that for a bit, but we have something much, much better today. I have a guest, my first real guest, and I'm really excited about this. Shall I bring, well, I tell you what, let me announce her. That's probably the best thing. It is Sandra Rogers. She's author of this incredible book called Inviting the Queen. Um, Sandra Rogers is a licensed marriage and family therapist. She is a psychotherapist and she is a clinical hypnotherapist, life coach, a Reiki master, incredible woman. And I consider her a friend. And I'm going to bring her on right now.
Hi,
It
Chuck.
works. This is the first time
It
I've tried this. Hi,
works.
Sandra. How are you
Hi.
doing today? You know,
I
I
am fine.
good. As I was saying to you before the show, I am so enthused about this book. I loved it tremendously. We've already done an interview together. We did this on Dr. Whimsy show, Taco Tuesdays. So we'll just resume where we left off, keep talking. But I guess my first question to you, Sandra, is um, tell us about yourself. Tell us who Sandra Rogers is and what compelled you to write this marvelous book, the message you want to get out to people.
Okay. Thank you, Chuck. Well, you kind of covered who I am with the psychotherapist and the clinical hypnotherapist. There's one other thing that I've done for the last 10 years and loved. I ran a group for gay men at the local LBGT center. Think I got
I
that.
didn't know that about you.
Yeah, I didn't think I've mentioned it before, and
No,
did
you have.
that as well. I had worked in the AIDS field for 14 years, so I had
Oh,
a large background with working
bless
with
you.
gay men. So
Well,
that was incredibly rewarding. And how
yeah.
did I come to write this book? Is that your question?
Yes, yes.
Yes. Okay. Well, I actually wrote my master's thesis on the crone, that fourth, the maid mother crone, the oldest woman,
Yes.
and I loved it, and I wanted to do workshops with women on the crone when I
Yeah.
finished got licensed. And when I started to talk to women about it, they went, "Oh God, no, not the crone. The crone, no, I hate that word."
Yeah,
So I
you touched
spent
upon
20
that in
years
your
trying to
book
figure it out.
because
Then I
your
realized
book,
there was a queen. Hmm?
yeah,
And
yes,
I
you use the
realized that there
archetype
was
of the mother. Well, let me
maid.
see, the maiden, correct? The mother,
Mhm.
and then the crone, but you've addressed in your book that there should be another archetype in
Right.
between, and I should let you continue talking, but I just wanted to point that out about the other
Oh, thank
archetypes.
you. Well, the crone, as it was, encompassed about 30 years. That's too long a time for a life stage. So,
Indeed,
and I
especially
saw that the queen,
modern.
something else was there. And I actually had a come to Jesus moment when it flashed in my head. There's something missing, and she's called the queen. And that's why I wrote the book. It
Well,
just actually came to me in a flash. So
indeed.
it's
Well,
kind of,
I think you channeled that.
I think there was a lot of that in the book. I could feel like I was writing it and thinking, oh, I can't wait to see how this ends. So somebody was putting words in my ear.
Indeed. Well, that's the way I work myself, but when I do my own spirit channeling, I mean, it's just amazing the inspiration that comes outside of our conscious mind. I think that's where all genius comes from. And I think what you
Oh,
came up with is ingenious. I was thinking before when you were mentioning about all the negative connotations we have about the crone, I think you mentioned in your book that that used to be something that was a place of honor and
yeah.
reverence, like crone, isn't that a derivative of crown?
Hmm.
Crown
Exactly.
chakra?
Crown, crown being a queen or crown chakra. Yes, absolutely. And just like the word hag came from Hagia Sophia, and it got turned into hag, which is awful. So
Awful.
words go through, they get changed sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, because your book basically addresses the modern woman, hence
Yeah.
the queen. Hence, in modern times, we do have negative connotations around the crone, and I think your book helps to reestablish that it's something honorable. But I loved the queen. Please talk about the queen. We could do a whole show just about that.
Well, the queen was, yeah, I saw her as being an archetype that embodied all the best that women can be as they've matured and are grown up. So I'm sorry, I'm kind of losing my train there. Um, um, oh dear, give me back on track, okay? Oh,
That's the fun thing about doing a live show.
oh, it's fun.
But to me, the queen. You know why I loved it? Because, I am in shall I say I'm in my queen years also as a man,
Yes.
and, so I really loved what you wrote about how this was about recognizing where a woman has come in her life, how she's earned the right to be the queen, how this is all of it's like the culmination of all of her life experiences up to this point, and you address in your title, Inviting the Queen, literally that, how to bring these in. And you utilize a lot of methods that I love anyway, like journaling, Greek mythology, archetypes, the chakras. Could you please elaborate on that for us?
Well, sure. As a therapist, I mean, my study was at Pacifica Graduate Institute, and they teach Jungian psychology. And there are not a lot of people that study C.G. Jung anymore. But he
Yeah.
talks about archetypes and mythology and brings those all together. And this was my training. It's what I like to do too. So it
Oh,
was easy
well,
to go into that. And
I
just
saw that,
he
but
led
I
the
saw
way.
your passion. Your
Yes.
passion was all throughout the book, and that's one of the things that I resonated with, and it kept me excited, and it kept me wanting to literally keep turning the pages to see where this was gonna go, where it was gonna lead to. But like with Greek mythology, these archetypes have been part of our literature for centuries, and
Yeah.
I thought it was very clever how you found ways to apply that to inviting the queen.
Well, it was.
Was there one in particular that resonated with you
Oh,
strongly?
the one that resonates with me all the time is the story of Demeter and Persephone, and I do relate that in the book. But
Uh-huh.
a mythological goddess of the harvest, Demeter, lost her
Yeah.
daughter who was picking
Oh,
flowers, and Hades, the god of the underworld, swooped in on his chariot and took her off and took her to the underworld. So
yeah.
Demeter was so devastated, she stopped growing things, and the world was ready to starve. And everyone was praying, "Oh, please bring the harvest back, we're dying." And she finally
Mm,
was able to presume on Zeus to find out more about where her daughter went. And she did. I won't tell the
mm,
whole story, but it's a
yeah.
lovely story. It tells us about winter, it tells
That's
us about mothers, it tells us about
it's
maidens, it tells us about grief. It's a very good mythological story.
oh, exactly. Well, also just the idea of wintertime.
Yeah.
Winter, like the winter of our lifetimes, that's such a powerful metaphor.
Yes.
Going to the underworld, the harvest, nurturing, feeding people. Yeah, you this is all throughout the book. You talk about, chakras. That was a big thing that I loved about your book because I was literally looking for a book like this about the chakras without even knowing, that was going to be within what you wrote. And,
Oh,
you do that through each of the stages and you give a list of ways to utilize these for each of the chakras of the body to bring in the empowerment of the queen. Would you like to discuss that with
oh,
us? Because
sure.
you
Absolutely.
did a beautiful job of that.
When I started to write the book, I thought, how am I going to describe her without writing a book with nothing but adjectives in it? I mean, that will be boring. So I was looking for a device, and since I take Kundalini yoga and work with the chakras all the time, I thought, what if we show the queen in the chakras and what the chakras mean and how that affects the queen? And so that's what I did throughout the book. And
Oh, yeah.
it was a good device to highlight her in a way that you could kind of catch and see and hold on to. So
Well,
that's how
I
that
just thought it was to me, it was revolutionary. I've never
really.
seen the chocolate used that way. Yes, yes. Would you say you even channeled that information, or that was based more on your own academic experience and
That
training?
was based on my life experience because I've taken Kundalini yoga and it works with
Yes.
the chakras. So I've been studying them for years and years. And that was
Mm,
it just went, oh, the chakras. That's how we can show the queen in all her qualities. So
yeah.
it made the structure. Does that make
Well,
sense?
it makes perfect sense, but I just feel like this book is a culmination of all again, like you talk about the queen, the culmination of life experiences, your book is exactly that. The culmination of your education, your experiences, your spirituality, and you just brought it all together in a fascinating way. I've recommended this book to several people
Oh,
already, and, there's so much to talk about here. We should get to the fact that you are launching your own YouTube channel and it's up tonight. Do you want to talk
right.
about that and
Oh,
what you
sure.
are hoping to do with this channel, what you want to achieve, how you want to reach out to people?
Sure. Well,
And your
first of
channel,
all,
by the way, is called Inviting the Queen.
well, you and I are sort of siblings of sort, since we both have
Yeah.
Debbie Brady as a manager.
Yes, we
So
do.
we do, and we're lucky. And so that was part of it. But um, wait a minute, you asked me
Well, I was just asking you about your YouTube
my
channel. You
YouTube
have to
channel.
be
Mhm.
really excited about
Oh, I
this. I just
am.
wanna hear what your plans are for it, what you hope
Oh,
to grow it into.
well,
Like, I'm growing my own channel right now.
Well, your channel and mine are a little different in that yours
Very
is
different,
story and myth of
actually.
Hollywood and history. Mine, I'm basically promoting my book, and the book was published in 2019, and then right after that, the pandemic happened. So I
Mhm.
really didn't get to market the book, and I always felt badly. And then I met Debbie, we talked, and she said, "Here's a way you can market your book." And she
Mhm.
suggested I do a YouTube channel and do these little videos about the Queen. And it could expand. We'll see how it grows with time. Um,
Yeah.
but it's really all about the book, and it's just little bits
Uh,
and pieces. And so, if it
uh-huh.
interests you, pick it up. That's what it's
I
doing.
can't wait. Now what are you doing? Are you doing like me where you're doing daily videos? Like just discussing your book, or have you
I'm
or you just tell me what is your channel? What is
I'm
the
just
structure of it?
I'm just laughing. I haven't done daily videos under Debbie's tutelage. I've done a stockpile, and I've had a terrible time. They don't teach you
Oh,
this stuff in psychology school. So
no.
so I have finally gotten to where I can make and upload my videos. Fine.
Oh, Debbie
Yes.
and I have had some times. I mean, like screaming matches on the phone.
Yes.
We love each other, but yeah, we
Yeah.
it's I've had some meltdowns. I will admit to it. I will admit a little bit just before the show because we couldn't get on the air live for about 20 minutes. But you know what? We're working through it, and Debbie has been wonderful with me. I know she's going to be wonderful with you. She's very patient, and she keeps reminding me, look what you've learned.
Yeah.
Look at what you've integrated thus far. And you know something? I just started this 4 months ago, and I look at the body of work I have right now on my channel. I only bring this up for you because I think you're going to be thrilled in similar ways. You know, like when you look at your channel a month or two from now, and you're going to be like, wow, all this, and you're gonna be making relationships with new people. They're gonna
Yeah.
be reaching out to you. Already, I've had some of the most wonderful people come to me, and it's just been there's so much love out there.
Oh,
And you're gonna find that.
yeah.
You're gonna find people grateful to you.
I you
So
know, I
that's why I was just
I
what you're growing with the channel right now. Um, tell me, are you planning on a follow up to
I
follow
am.
the queen? And
I
I
am. And
asked
I
you
was
this.
actively
Tell
working on it. Um, I think it's only fair to finish out the maid, mother, and crone and do the crone. I'll call her something else, elder woman or
uh,
something like that. But I've been doing the
okay.
research for aging because the queen is not old. She's I don't know, 50s, 60s, something like that, maybe 70s, but the crone is getting into her 80s and 90s. And that time is coming for me. So I'm always curious. So
Yeah.
I'm researching the crone and what aging
Okay.
is like and finding some fabulous, interesting things. And things
That's
are
magnificent.
changing with how old people are being viewed in the
Well,
country.
I have to ask you this. I wasn't aware you were doing this, because, the queen is about the culmination of empowerment at that point of life. Are you going to branch out the crone in similar ways where you're going to show how the crone is empowered? And
Yes.
really, it's like the third act, the big finale of our lifetimes where we're heading, and it should be the biggest of all.
Well, yes, I see that that could happen because there is so much about getting older. As someone else said, we get older, we don't age. Everything ages, but we do get older. And as one gets older, there are lots of changes. It's kind of like puberty in reverse. Nobody
Yes.
explains it to you. And
I have often thought about aging that way,
you too?
puberty in reverse.
Yeah.
It's where all these things start happening to your body, but they're not so nice this time.
No, you're
Or
going,
maybe they are.
yeah.
I shouldn't say that. Well, it was what would you think of the title "Embracing the Crone"?
Oh, I like that. Oh, I
Isn't
like
that
that.
great?
Yes.
I mean, we need to wrap up in a moment here, but one of the things I said to you, and one of the answers I was hoping you were gonna give there is I said to you, "I wish you would write a book for men." I don't know if you would call it The King or what, but, I'm in that age range. That's why I resonated with it. There are a lot of men like me who would love a book like this where you do a similar thing with, Greek mythology, archetypes, literature, and of course, history.
Yeah.
And of course, I realized the history of the way men have treated women is not
Mhm.
necessarily so good, but nonetheless, that is our history, that is our background, and it all culminates now. And I hope very much you adapt this for men.
Well,
I just want to put a little idea in your head. Um, but Debbie, pardon me, I called you Debbie. Sandra, hey, it's live,
it's
folks.
live.
Um, what are the best ways to find your book and contact you?
Okay.
And also to find your channel,
Oh,
because we want to promote that, make sure people see it.
my channel is called Inviting the Queen. It's on YouTube, and
Uh-huh.
that's easy. You can find my book on Amazon, and that's easy. And the
That's
third question was get in touch with me. Go to my website, Sandra Rogers, LMFT, and
okay.
.com, and you'll see my website. There's all kinds of information about my services and what I provide and how to reach me. So
Okay.
I'm not hard to.
Sandra, anything you'd like to say in closing before I let you go? Because I want to get your message out there. Is there
Okay.
anything we haven't covered that was important?
I think one of the things that's really important is I'm kind of living the second book. I lived the first one. And you know what?
Uh-huh.
We really can make our lives what we need and what we want. And in a way, this is what I'm telling people. You don't have to grow old and gray and sit in a corner. There are so many other
Exactly.
ways to be an older person.
Yeah.
And
Well, yeah, I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
no,
Forgive
that's
me.
okay.
I was just going to
Anyway,
say that your book is available as a paperback.
right.
It's available in paperback. Is it available as Kindle on Amazon?
Yes, it's available as Kindle.
Okay, good. I just want people to know that.
Yeah. And
Okay.
it's good for both.
All right.
Uh,
Excellent. Well, Sandra, it would make a wonderful gift
oh,
for the holidays coming up. We
great
should
gift.
suggest
Yes,
a
I do.
fabulous gift. Yeah.
I have a
Well,
video coming
Sandra,
up.
Sandra, I just want to thank you so much. I consider you a friend now, and it's just a privilege to talk to you. And I thank you for being my very first guest
I'm
on my
honored.
show. This is only my fourth show I've ever done, and this is the first time we've ever tried this. And you've been so gracious to put up with all of our technical bugs and things. But thank you very much for being
Thank you,
here,
Chuck. It's
and
been
I
a
just wish you
delight.
so much success with your channel.
Thank you.
So we will let you go now, and thank you,
All
and
right.
have a good.
I think of you as a friend too.
Thank
Thank
you,
you, Chuck.
Sandra. Goodbye. Well, that was wonderful. My very first guest, my first interview on my show. I'm hoping to do a lot more of these in the future. My incredible manager is lining up more guests. Probably the start of next year. This is what we're going to do. I know I need to wrap up soon, but I always promise a Lucille Ball story. And I thought, well, today's got to be a short one. Last week I talked for 17 minutes. I have stories up in my head. This one is a little wicked, and I question telling it because it involves the F bomb. And I asked, is it okay to say that word? Because it is pertinent to the story. But Lucy, when she was pregnant, the second season of the show, it was this is a whole story I'm going to talk about in the future. It'll be a much longer story, but it was the first time a real life pregnancy had ever been covered on a situation comedy. It was even considered controversial at the time. It almost did not even get past the networks. Lucy and Desi thought it was even going to shut down the show, but they decided to go with it because it was honest. It was Lucy and Desi were having a baby, and they decided, well, Lucy and Ricky are going to have a baby also. So anyway, Lucy was meeting a very rigorous schedule. She was working hard and she was pregnant on top of that. So they were trying to make things easy for her. So they moved her dressing room right next to the side of the stage where they did the show. So she could make very easy and quick costume changes, makeup, hair, whatever, and be back out. Poor Vivian Vance, on the other hand, had to go all the way down a long hallway to get to her dressing room. And the way they filmed I Love Lucy, Lucy did not like to take a lot of breaks. Unlike today, where they'll take sometimes 5 or 6 hours to film a sitcom, I Love Lucy was typically filmed in about 45 minutes, which was incredible. That's how meticulously rehearsed everything was, last down to the last little detail. So, Lucy, her costume changes were nice and easy. Poor Vivian having to run down the hallway. It was the episode where they had to come on the nightclub and do this little thing, they sing this little ditty and they're in these little costumes, but it was a complex costume change. And Vivian Vance frantically ran to her dressing room, changed as fast as she could, ran back as fast as she could, huffing and puffing, and they're about to go on, and Lucy's standing there going, "You're late. You almost missed your cue." Well, Vivian took a deep breath, looked Lucy in the eye, and said, "Here comes the F-bomb. I tell you to go fuck yourself, but Desi already took care of that." So that literally happened before they went on and did that scene. If you ever watch the show, that's what went on behind the scenes. So anyway, that's my cute little story. And I'm just looking at time here. We've been on for half an hour, but I should do at least one reading here. I always promise that I'll take the oracle cards. Let's see. Do I have any questions here from anybody? I'll do at least one here. I have a question somebody asked me beforehand, and it was Joyce who wanted to know how her family gathering was going to go for Thanksgiving. Now, I shuffle these cards. Swear to you, literally, I swear, I'm amazed at this. I literally pulled up this card, family, Holy Spirit. Joyce, I don't think you have a thing to worry about. This is a very, look at the dove of peace, the olive branch, family, Holy Spirit. I think you are going to have a phenomenal Thanksgiving. I mean, literally, this is the card I pulled up. Damn, I'm good. So this is what I do. And in the future, we're going to do a lot more oracle card readings here. I will have more show business stories. I will have plenty of Lucy stories. I literally have hundreds and hundreds to tell. I'm very passionate about Lucy, Desi. I love Lucy. And there's always stuff to talk about, industry news. So I just want to thank you all for being here and supporting me. It means so much as I'm learning and growing and making my mistakes live in front of all of you. You've all just been so beautiful. And oh, Joyce, she just said, "Thank you. You're very welcome, Joyce." Isn't that amazing? I got that card for you. Joyce is going to have her own show soon, but we'll talk about that in the future. So I'm going to sign out for right now. And let me see if I can figure out how to do this because I'm not seeing my exit button here. This is just great. Last week was really funny. I thought I had ended the show and I found out that I exited out. We had an orange screen for several minutes and I hadn't exited out. So let's see what happens right here. And I just see a button here, end stream. So folks, I want to thank you again. And I'm going to see you next week at this time, 5 p.m. Pacific and 8 p.m. West Coast time. So please like and subscribe my channel, Chuck's Captivating Chronicles. I have a plethora of old Hollywood stories on there, Lucy stories. I'm putting 2 new videos a day. Thanks to my wonderful manager, Debbie Brady. It is growing and proliferating all over the place, and it's just getting better and better. And oh, yes, I just had a question here. Is the strike poll going to go well? Oh, yeah, generally the consensus is this is going to get passed very, very easily because actors are really eager to get back to work. Producers are eager because this means salvaging at least half of the television season. And it also means that the summer blockbusters in the movie theaters for next year are going to go into production now. So yes, I think this is definitely going to get going. And we got a lot of people who just need to be working again and feeding their families and paying their mortgages and their rents. So it's a great thing. And I'm just looking at thank you for all your sweet words here and comments. Thank you, Francine. She said, "Damn, I'm good." Laughing out loud. Thank you, Debbie. Right, Francine. Well, anyway, thank you all for joining us. And I'm going to exit out right now.